How's it going? I'm Ryan, and today I'm going to go over the two trades that I took on NQ. My first trade was break even, my second trade was a winner. Overall, we're up $409 on the day for a pretty decent day overall. I'll go over those trades in just a second. First, I'm going to go over what we were looking at coming into the day, pulling up the 1 hour time frame here. We see yesterday we had a drop through the pre-market, eventually rallying higher. Overnight, we kind of chopped sideways, and the pre-market started to drop again. And then in the morning, we had a bit of a pullback and then rallied higher in the afternoon. So kind of similar to yesterday's price action, we are looking like maybe we're forming a bottom here. We'll see if we break out of this downtrend that we've been in, maybe get some swing highs and some higher lows. We did form a higher low in today's session as opposed to yesterday. And technically, well, I guess we didn't form a higher high, but we have a higher low, and that's seeming like it's setting us up for a potential bounce and maybe a reversal out of this trend down that we've been having. I'll pull up the 5 minute. We're going to have the volume profile on the 5 minute because that is where I'm looking to take trades. So coming into the morning, you can see that we are below the overnight sessions volume, value area. We have the overnight session here and its value area highlighted here. And then we have yesterday's price action and the value area of yesterday here. Now, one of the first things that I was watching was this overlap between the overnight sessions value area low at about 20,455 and yesterday price actions value area high at 20,450, we'll call it. So whenever we have these levels overlapped, that causes me to watch those levels pretty seriously. Why is that? That's because there's a lot of volume in those areas, a lot of volume transacted in those areas, and psychologically, we can expect some transactions that occur there. We can expect liquidity to be in that area and price to gravitate to those towards or away from those areas. So as we opened up in the pre-market, we got a rejection off this level. When we opened up, we came up and tested it right here, 940. I had debated taking this short here, but we had news at 9:45. I believe we had PMI coming out. And if we look at the 1 minute chart here, oh man, it's not gonna be a minute. Where are we? Okay, so this is it. Similar to yesterday, if you watched yesterday's video, we were approaching an area of interest, an area where we expect to see resistance. And then you can see on the 1 minute chart, right, we have that move up. We see volume decline. We see price action looking weak. We see that rolling over. And that's kind of what I was looking at, thinking of a potential short off this level here. The reason why I didn't take it is once that started to set up, it was about 9:43. We had PMI coming out at 9:45. So I did not take this trade because we had news coming out. But that was the first setup that I was watching, was a rejection off that area. And it did play out really nice. You can see we rejected from 45, if we take it to this low, to 270. So 170 points, that's pretty significant. From there, we had some pretty volatile price action. It was pretty choppy, right? We didn't have much of a trend. If we're looking at the 5 minute here, you can see we came down, we came up, we tested this level, we rejected, we came up. We were having some pretty wild swings. We had news at 10, and that's why you see this news candle is pretty explosive to the upside. But yet we failed to close above this level. So we tested once, tested twice, tested 3 times. This would have been an opportunity short again off this level, and you see it played out. It dropped well over 100 points, but did not take this trade either. And the reason being is I felt that the risk to reward, had I captured that whole move down, the risk to reward would have been worth it. But I scalp, and in order for me to take a short here, I probably would have wanted to place a stop above these wicks, at which case that would have been from 45 to about a 50 point stop loss. and that's quite a lot more than I would like to incur. That's a lot more risk than I would like to take on. So, you could have had a 50-point stop loss and a 100-point take profit. It would have worked. You would have had that 2-to-1 ratio. But like I said, we were pretty choppy, right? And we keep chopping and kind of consolidating. Eventually we break down and we formed a low. At this point, I had gotten off. I hadn't taken any trades in the morning because we were kind of no trend, pretty choppy, and in a rangy market. So there's nothing for me here. Like I said, this would have been the trade that I would have taken, that short up in here, had it not been for that news coming out. And that news didn't really have much of an impact on the market, but I didn't know that. So hindsight 2020, as I always say, knowing that news wasn't going to move the market, I would have gladly entered that short because it had a nice risk to reward, right? You see that price weak, those wicks, you could have entered here, set your stop right above those wicks, and then targeted a bigger move. So came back later in the day and I took a trade that was stopped essentially at break even. I think I made $30 on it. And it hurts a little bit because it could have been a really nice win, looking at it now and understanding that I just kind of read things wrong. So let's talk about it. I had mentioned stacked volume areas, right? So like here, I was watching this level because we had the value area high stacked with the overnight value area low. But something that we also had was in the value area high of the overnight session around like 576. In the previous overnight session, we had a value area high of 586. So that to me reads as a very serious resistance, right? Because this was considered kind of overpriced in this overnight session and similarly overpriced in this overnight session. So two value area highs stacked together, that's going to form a pretty serious resistance. As price came up to it, and I want to just, what I'll do here is I'll draw a little box between those so we can take a look in today's session, zoom in a little bit and take a look. We'll do that right there. All right, so if we're looking at this, we see price come up, and at this point we're really bullish, right? We formed this low and then we've been rallying really hard to the upside. So as we're approaching these levels, the two things I'm watching are the overnight point of control and then this value area high. And we moved up and closed just below the value area, or excuse me, the point of control, at which point I was looking to see, is there weakness? Do I take a short? But quickly after we moved higher, and that kind of invalidated a short idea here. We moved higher and we tested this value area high. From there, the next candle, we pulled back and tested this value, or this point of control, and we closed higher. And in doing so, I'm gonna pull up this 5-minute chart. This is what we're looking at here. And it was right in here. What we had was kind of these stacked points of control on the 5-minute as well. And these two bullish candles both closed well above their point of control. So that to me read as still bullish momentum. And I took a long on, I'm gonna have to back this up. I took a long on that 5-minute candle here. Where is it? Right in here. And the reason why is, like I said, we had been bullish. Our points of control here look bullish. Essentially, I'm looking at where the volume occurred and where the price reacted, right? So volume occurred lower in the candle, price closed higher. That to me is signaling that buyers are pressing that price up, so they still have control at this time. And I entered on this candle here because this 1-minute candle was the one that came and tested that overnight point of control. We saw a spike in volume and price shot up really quick. So it came down and touched it. As soon as it did, we saw an influx of volume and we saw price move higher. So I entered following that because I was looking for a breakout and potential move. So if we look, if I'll full screen this so we can get a better view of this. My next level was right here at 700, and that was the value area low of Monday. So I wanted to see a break above this resistance and a move higher, similar to what we did in yesterday's session, right? We got that breakout and we had a pretty explosive move to the upside for well over 100 points. So that's kind of what I was anticipating when we had that bullish price action. We held the point of control and I entered long here. We moved up and we started testing this resistance, and I knew there was resistance there, and this is kind of what I'm saying is I was on the wrong side of things. I knew there was resistance there, 2 stacked value area highs. That is a very strong resistance and a potential area to look for a short. So I was kind of caught on the wrong side of things here. I was on the right side of the daily trend, but on the wrong side of kind of the overall macro picture of where price might reverse. Once we got a nice move up, so this candle gave me some hope, but these following 3 candles kind of made me pause, and we just got 3 dojis in a row without breaking higher, and also the volume was lacking. At this point, I raised my stop loss to break even because I didn't like the reaction I was getting. If we were going to get a nice breakout and continuation, I would have wanted to see that, right? And the fact that we had this bullish candle followed by just dojis and an inability to close higher, and a lack of volume as well, made me bring my stop to break even. And then I'm very glad I did so, because you see the following reaction, right? We had a massive pullback over 100 points. This stopped me out. But like I said, my stop was at break even, so I actually made $30 on this trade. But I was on the wrong side of things. What I should have been paying more attention to was that we had resistance here. We were failing to close above those levels, and then we had some weak price action on the 1 minute. So I could have been a little bit more patient and actually entered this as a short, and it would have been an absolute killer trade. And look at where we pulled. So I talk about value area rotations, right? And we rotated, here's the value area high, and we rotated right back down to that value area low. And you can see right where it bounced, right? And then you see we bounced there multiple times, that value area low. So we expect buyers to be present in the value area low. We expect sellers to be present in the value area high, and that's exactly what happened. It rejected off the value area high, rotated to the value area low. That was a textbook trade. I was just on the wrong side of things. I just read it wrong. So that was on me. From there, what did we get? Well, we finally got the move that I was kind of expecting. When I said I wanted to see a break above this level and a move to 700, what did we get following, right? We got a break above this level and we ran right up to 700. Now, 700 was my next level for resistance. And the reason being, like I said, I'm going to zoom out and we'll just focus on that for a second. Reason being is that was the next value area level that we had, value area low right here. And I'll just draw a level right there because this is where I took my winning trade. So if I extend that, all right, now let's zoom in. So I waited, we moved up, and I watched how price reacted. We had very bullish momentum, and we came up, we see volume drop here, right? We see price test this level, test it, close below it, and then we also have, I'm looking at the 5-minute point of control. Look where that point of control is. Isn't that beautiful? It's right at the top of that candle, telling me that price tried to push up. There was a lot of volume here where we expect there to be selling volume, and price got pushed down and couldn't close higher. And if I pull up the 1-minute chart as well, because I use the 5-minute point of control, and the 1 minute. And when all these things are telling me the same picture, that's when I like to enter. What I saw here was that we had moved up. We started to look a little weaker, right? A little less volume, some upper wicks on these candles. And I entered on this candle right here. Once we started pulling back underneath, I entered short. My stop was above that wick, that high a day. So tight stop loss, 15 points. My take profit was 30 and 40 points. And we quickly came down and hit that. So kind of fading the trend. We were definitely in an uptrend on the day at this point. But I scalp. All I need is 30 to 40 points, and I'm super happy with that. So that was a trade that I took that brought me to a nice win overall. This setup would have been ideal had I been short instead of long here. That would have been a really nice move, looking for that rotation from value area high to low. That was a killer textbook play, but I missed that. So I just had to wait for the next opportunity. And that opportunity presented itself. I executed, and we're able to get away with a win. So we're still clawing our way back from Friday. We had a big losing day Friday, but we're not super far off now. We're making our way. If we can keep up the momentum that we have this week, we'll be there before long. That's all I got for you. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. I do trade live Monday through Friday, so if you'd like, stop by. You're always welcome. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace.